going into the game. Have a great cast. See you later.
Thank you, Richard. Woo!
Let's go.
Shall we, Mohan? A little PGL Shanghai, Perfect World Shanghai major cast. Good to get it rolling. Fnatic Cloud9. Not the way they wanted to kick off the opening stage of the major, of course. Best of one loss, though. It's not the end of the day. Let's see if they turn it around. Every single player wakes up this morning hoping to be 2-0. God forbid 0-2. BlameF in the middle of the pack with Berettas, single frag. A-Site looks prime for the taking, at least to Cloud9, but you've got this donut pack ready for the fight. Trade frag's back. Icy comes up with a couple and body.
You know who loves donuts, baby?
Hits
It's Heavy
the ground.
Cloud.
Done just like that. Clean kills, big clash. That's what, 8 players set up to die inside of A?
Yeah, off this push, they didn't think that with mid control at the same time, somebody would be walking A main, so BlameF had the opportunity to maybe get to if they were really made some accidents happen, but all that tragedy is avoided for Cloud9. They get that kill 1 for 1, and of course, A-Side's wide open. This is back in the meta of going fast A on a lot of different rounds. A lot of extremity pushes happening. Especially, we'll see Fnatic do the same thing when we switch over. Definitely akin to a rush or two. So Axal here looking to rack up the ADR.
Oof, I love that. 3 kills to Axal. Let's get it out of the way. All in A rush. Nock picks up the weapon. And he's pinched in from both ends, but Cloud9 converted 2-0 out the gate. That's exactly what the analysts ordered.
Yeah, so we'll see how many fast kind of A rounds we get, or if it's going to have a lot to do with mid. But as brought up, we're looking to the second half of Cloud9 to be very strong, so it's all about how many rounds they can get now. Even having a pistol and a conversion is a great start, especially in this MR12 situation. What's funny about MR12 is that we haven't seen, upsets that have mattered too much. When we look at the teams that qualified to the RMR, we might have the most decisive sort of outcome from the RMR in terms of results. But here we are, Heavy God trying to run in, but smartly walks away from this duel. Could have got awkward for him.
Yeah, body, good reposition around the smoke. T-smoke put in front of him. We see the contact on Pillar, but he quickly moves.
They probably won't be ready for 2 still on A. They would think max 1 at the moment, BlameF or the other.
Ready to go, and he trades out with the double. Not able to finish off Axile, whose rating has been improving with this Cloud9 roster. 2 LAN events for this Cloud9 roster, right? Completely revamping the roster ahead of the 2025 season. And Axile starting to find a little groove. Crims, though, he gets space out into the bomb site where he does get clipped by Axile. Heavy God trade back out from A main. So both positions known for Body, who was lucky to survive the first fight. Does he come back in late round? No, sir. Axile hones in with the 4K. And as mentioned, right, when Electronic and that blockbuster Cloud9's created, it's a 1.03 CS2 rating for a 2-time top 5 player in Axile, Mohan.
Yeah.
His improvements as of late, as Yanko kind of called for him to kind of step it up at this major just in this pregame, he is doing it.
For sure. Yeah, even watching him at the RMRs, I was seeing some rounds that were feeling like Axile of old, just a few years ago. So I'm a fan of what we've seen from them, and again, individual level, when you look at Cloud9 versus Fnatic, it's basically, how big of a game can BlameF have, and then will Heavy God pop off? Will Axile pop off? Will Icy pop off? So there's just more potential, it feels like, right now in C9.
BlameF, you spoke of him. The only one equipped to do something this round. But you just mentioned it, right? You want to pop off from BlameF? Well, when you just went down the list of Cloud9 players, let's talk about the AWP for a moment, because the head-to-head between Nock and Icy right now are that's just all Cloud9, right? Pop-off potential goes to Icy.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody who, again, in the 2 events with Cloud9, withholds a minimum of 1.19 rating. Every LAN event, he steps forward in a Cloud9 jersey. That is AWP impact. Nock's current position, dude, sub 1.0 rating at the RMR. He wasn't a reason that they got to play at the major. It was all BlameF. And so that's why he is the only name on the list of players that you kind of put forward for Fnatic.
It's a shame. It's I like the pickup of Nock on paper. He's somebody that I've been a fan of for a long time. He's also the new addition to the team, and the reason that they have only played like a couple of months together. So those growing pains might get exposed. Cloud9 have been working on this project for a little bit longer, and it looks like that time has resulted in some improvement. Axile This should be another easy situation, unless
Hold on.
everybody gets mopped and 3 players go down with no trade.
Crims just slips out into the bomb site, backs completely turned to him. How does Crims get away with such tomfoolery?
Okay.
How is that Fnatic's first round? 3 AKs robbed from it as well.
All right.
Let's get a top down to this. BlameF again kicks it off in A main, 1 kill. That's when we think this one's just done for. But Crims just 2 backs turned.
Nice.
Simple as that.
Nice, ready. So fucking.
Was that someone with a nade out? Back default?
Looked like it.
Yeah, I guess the smoke on A main. I'm not sure what the nade is for. You have a teammate in Donut and CT smoked as well, but yeah, that's it was a smoke that was pushed. So really well timed there for Crims. And back to the rushes here for Cloud9. Oh, that's a big miss.
Look how deep he is. Already out on the signpost. We will get the response out of Nock, cleaning up entry number 2 and 3. Boomich, who was able to get into the bomb site, dies, and Nock posts the op impact.
There we go.
Fnatic kickstarting a CT side off of the back of that pistol upset.
Scaling is a little awkward because obviously if they run past single box, Nox can no longer take that angle on main. But because someone jumps out because their plan is to fight Donut first and no one fans out the other way, Nock can sit there and take free shots over and over again, not have to worry about the player he missed. So you can see if anybody had gone up to the right, it would have totally pushed him back. So 1 miss won't be the end. Fnatic back in the game.
Well, this T-side had to be better than what they offered up in the opening match versus Liquid. Looked better thanks to a pistol win, but a pistol win in conversion doesn't always mean much. The question's still there, but an entry frag, an excellent opening for Cloud9, trying to charge down body. He's hanging on, and they're not doing a good job of getting him out of here before the rotation comes over. BlameF is able to offer up a follow-up, but it's still man advantage for Cloud9 off of the back of pistols.
Oh, look how they're playing it.
My God, 3 players grouped up, looking for the peak. AKs in hand, first bait, excellent setup. Crim's spray's not good for both, but now it's down to just 12 health. A single shot from Icy gets it over the line. Heavy God opens up, and these 2 teams go tit for tat. Pistol upsets apiece.
That's a moment where you see good cohesion. You do see a little bit of a lack of explosiveness, right? When they're trying to trade out body on long, it's like you have just got a very important kill. Use some of that momentum and swing faster on this eco, but they still get the trades, and then they have another good idea on this tactic to explode versus everybody in CT spawn. And Fnatic are waiting for it with an op, but because Cloud9 are more closely packed this time, they can trade it 1 for 1 very fast before that op can fall back. Trades are better. Explosiveness still could be a bit better here for Cloud9, and that's where you can still see Cloud9 aren't a perfect team. You know, they're not maximizing like how good they could be in some of these situations, but they're still good enough to outclass Fnatic. So this is where the game gets a little scary for Fnatic, of course. 4 rounds for Cloud9 already.
And that stellar CT side that lies ahead. That was not the question of their opening game. Great chance for Cloud9 to secure themselves a 5th and 6th, as all money on the line here for the defense, essentially. They go for the mid control, all's good. Icy posted up. We've seen a lot of transitioning from body on that pillar to this V position. Oh, and it's just not there for Icy. Doesn't get lucky with the smoke. Doesn't decide to take a shot, despite bullets coming out of that B bomb site from Fnatic. Feels like after 6 rounds of play, we're going to start settling in here. This is a very critical gun round. Both teams know it.
Yeah.
A little posturing out of the gate, and they go for cave control with a Molotov on the doorway. So fully taken over by Boomich. This is great for him, looking to sink his teeth into B or just sell a fake.
This isn't too much map control given up. They still have vision on window, and you can see BlameF taking a last glance as he walks over to B now. But with Cave taking over, it's a pretty equal position, I'd say at least. Cloud9 are quite happy with this so far. So we'll see if this one push will work. But
getting antsy.
Surely Cloud9 are going to be ready for this because this is the one thing that hasn't been pushed. They have Cave already.
Axile looks to be holding it, but right there on the edge of the box, Icy relying on Axile, gets shadow advantage, sprays in case a second, so clearly Axile's not going to fall for your games. Heavy God just adds insult to injury. B site cleaned up.
So they put so much pressure on that it, for Fnatic, who were in the fog of war, had no idea that Cloud9 were waiting in all these different positions, but they should have been nervous in that spot. But it's perfect from Exile. It's a poor clear from Body. There's no second swing right away. I think this is a moment where you could see Fnatic are about to lose, even though they don't know it. And even though that one push was the one sort of gap, it was a honeypot at the end of the day. Cloud9 were hoping they did something aggressive.
What are you making of this Exile kickoff, Launders? 11-5.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see it. I did watch, like, again, when I watched the RMRs, I was... I'm still... I don't have Cloud9, like, going through this stage.
Okay.
But they would be like a 2-3 team for me. I wouldn't be surprised if they went through, of course, but there were a lot of good teams to pick from. I just wasn't totally convinced of Cloud9's form, but I'll say the one thing was, watching Exile play at the RMR, I definitely saw some really strong moments.
A little promise in there.
Little promise,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a welcome sight to have a player of his caliber able to kind of get back up there, because you look at, obviously, Shiro's departure and his ability to tether off of Donk. You know, exactly, man. And you know, riflers do come and go, and sometimes they never come back.
Most of the time.
This case, at least, Exile trying to make a name for himself in this revamped Cloud9, but what was left of the economy for Fnatic's all here, and Icy sends one through. A lineup that could have been in a previous round, but the first one comes with a second. Boomich bests Blame F.
That's his first kill.
Heavy God takes over position inside of Cave. Mattis trying to creep in down to a 3v5, but that 3v5 does come with low health bars on those two pieces of contact that Fnatic have made. So
Mattis is crazy, by the way. Mattis.
Because of his mouse pad?
No, just how many ways you can say his name.
M-A-T-Y-S?
M-A-T-Y-S, Mattis.
Anything else?
Almost maxed out.
Matisse.
Mattis.
How about this move over to the A site right now? Cloud9 honestly bolstering that defense, and to be real with you, Fnatic have put the right pieces in the right place. The little that's left over, we get this solo fade coming out from Boomich,
but can't nade Molly from here. So
does he bait at least the attention in for that temple swing? We're waiting for it, but Nox not hitting shots, and Crims gets pinched because Boomich does arrive from the other end of the map. Icy with two inside
I'll
sight.
tell you why I don't like the setup. Intentions are good with the players there, but Crims has Molly and Smoke. He could have spotted and then mollied, but he was trying to sort of take advantage of the op that was on the same line. I just don't think he put himself in a great spot to fall back in the case of the op not taking the first shot and him getting chased back. It kind of felt like they're both doing a similar thing there. In that, I mean, a more standard play in that moment I think would have been good. And if Crims didn't have any utility, I think that would be a perfect spot to try. But I don't think they maximized that position between the rifle and op. And this is where they can smell the push coming down.
Icy's 2 kills from sight.
Yeah.
So again, kind of this trend as of late, op dominance coming forward from Icy over Nock. Haven't really had to talk about Nock holding back anybody just yet. Triple MP9, folks. That's what we're going to get in round 9. This T-side for Cloud9, a stark improvement to that versus Liquid. Still has left room, I think, to make errors, as we saw just kind of walking into a bomb site that could have been better defended, but individually, Exile and Icy are simply taking over. Pistols bottom middle found out. Boomich able to turn back, deal with Mattis, and Blame F is the sole fragger for Fnatic here in round number 9. That's all they get unless Body goes massive. And at 1-6 at the moment, he's going to try to deal with what's left of Boomich. That one's an easy freebie. AK Swap Primes enters for the trade frag. 7-2, a healthy T-side with what we know can be a dominant defense up next.
We know how brutal it is here at the Major. We've already got Fnatic starting off 0-1 because they lost 13-11 to Wildcard earlier today in a game that I think infuriated a lot of people because I think, you know, of the 03 teams that you'd normally see, FlyQuest, and then a lot of people picking whichever other team from the Asian RMR, I think the third most picked team probably was Wildcard.
Yeah,
so
probably.
I think people watched that.
Fools.
Who would do that? Who would do that?
Stanislaw doubters. Icy looking for it again, but the flash pressure, this is a little bit better. They've got them at least corralled into a corner. Body making the most of one, but it still comes at a...
It's a sharp shot there, Icy. Another great kill for him.
Just, unfortunately, not what you hope to get out of such a commitment from Fnatic going for this lane fight. Not the first, not the second, god damn it, not the third time they've even done this, right? It's been this constant pressure, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, it's constant pressure, but it's easily precipitated. Couldn't you say that most of what Fnatic have done has been pretty vanilla so far?
Yeah, I mean,
regular timings on pushes, the same usual pushes with the same usual players, and Cloud9 with all the reason in the world to sit back in like very safe positions and defaults and expect these fights to come.
It's constant pressure, Mohan, but it's like Earth's gravity. We're all used to it. We can handle it. You can roll out of bed every single day. We're not talking about 75-year-olds here.
Right. You're not surprised when you hit the ground. Right.
You're fine. I do like this grouping up of the three. Nox going to give us something to talk about. Sets up Crims.
Nice.
There we go. Bomb delivered at his feet. Something of a bit of a difference, right? We haven't really seen them fighting for front cave that hard.
Also, they did an earlier push, so to have two more people there after their B push also got shut down, I think that was something a little bit harder to expect. So, okay. As I say that, they've been doing too many predictable things. There's something that's a little different. Nice from Fnatic to actually pick up a third with a round like that, leaving Icy all alone to save. But he'll happily do so as we get near to the end of this first half. Cloud9 are in a very comfortable position.
All about just giving yourself the best chance of a T-side comeback. That's what's got to be fresh on Fnatic's minds. Shout out Knock for the little adjustment, and Crims for keeping us cool with the double kill. Crims even only getting one in that position. I think we're still talking about a Cloud9 is going to take their chance. Icy comes up ramp, and they try to split that B site. But Crims getting the double, that's the nail in the coffin. That's 3 on the board. And a buyback for Fnatic.
Crims, legend of the game. Good to have him at the major. He just doesn't stop fragging.
Into the mid control for Cloud9. They don't waste much time getting in, establishing it with lane, but also giving much more space to that potential B ramp push that we have been seeing, right? Keeping eyes on it from the kind of top mid roost. Screw getting too close. Don't linger over by doors. This is clearly Cloud9 or setting an early target on A.
I was going to say I was happy to see the setup, but they're peeling out of it. Which makes me a little bit uncomfortable because right now we've got a formation of the T players towards A, but it looks like Nock might actually benefit from this push. But wait, how far is he going?
Standing in the open now, trying to join up with the Red Room players. Crims just comes out through smoke. At least Nock's able to scoop one up, but that was 4 players from Fnatic ready to fight in mid. In doing so, they've offered up this opening. Inters absolutely skates through the bomb site. Nock forced the fall back. Icy takes his angle, hits a second.
Come on.
And Mattis nowhere to be found with this beautiful late lurk from Heavy God. Now, sure, bomb is awkwardly down, but Heavy God hasn't overplayed his hand here. Mattis is obviously wondering, why does that bomb not go down? Somebody's got to be hunting me. He gets the contact. This is a winnable 1v3 as he takes damage into the corner of the wall. The bomb gets scooped. He tries to escape, but Icy wins it out, swapping to the M4. Careful, Cloud9.
Yeah.
Careful.
They did have to be careful, but at the same time, they have 8 rounds. Also, that round looked extremely solid. They figured out when they could push A main. I think that interaction inside of Donut, the mid timing was perfect in terms of nading it open, looking into mid, 2 pushing out a donut. But Cloud9 were very safe as they approached, going 1 for 1 on their initial trade. I think that Fnatic really should have just known when it got a little bit too dangerous right there and peeled back. But again, the winning move was the A push from Cloud9. It has been throughout this whole half.
Yeah, shout out Inter slipping in Absolutely establishing enough space for the likes of Icy to then take over Nox op angle. And Nox, speak of the devil, now here back with a Famas. Tries to keep his head down, Pat comes out, does peel, enters off the play, but it's still the double out of Cloud9 to bolster that push into the bomb site. Bomb gets dropped with this forward attempt from Crims ahead of the smoke. He peels into it, giving time for the rotate of body to go towards CT spawn, and he gets no contact. Cloud9 just kind of letting their foot off the pedal for a moment.
They have lots of time to work with, at least. So
Icy locks into the corner. Body decides not to press the issue.
There is actually some insecurity here for Cloud9, or for Fnatic, I should say. They don't know where the bomb is, and they don't have anybody watching A. So there's a small chance of a huge rotation, but for now they're staying patient.
Oh, that could have been Body. The MP9 swings with good damage, and it is Mattis to clean up shop. 4 rounds to Fnatic, 2 of them sprinkled in here at the very tail end, but that Icy Axile Wombo combo at the start of the half, man, that is what set up Cloud9 so convincingly.
100%. Yeah, that was a sight to behold. I think they're really bringing the fire here in this matchup. And again, it's 0-2 on the line. Ugh.
Nobody wants to be an 0-2 player. Because, I mean, again, right, I kind of quickly mentioned it, but like every single player you've seen on your screen today woke up and truly believed that they could go 2-0. If Passion UA can start their RMR run up to, you are 2 best-of-1 wins away from being the 2-0 teams, the 4 of them, right? So we're talking about 20 players that get to achieve what every single one of them got out of bed thinking they could do. And instead, one of these 2 teams, potentially Fnatic at this point, is going to be the exact opposite
again,
end of that spectrum.
There have been the least amount of upsets in this major compared to, like, I think almost any major I've ever watched. In terms of who made it to the opening stage, who got through to the next.
It's true.
There's no stray phases, there's no stray Navis, there's no stray G2s, there's no, you know what I mean? So going 2-0 is a very viable dream. And you look at the teams that they're playing right now, it was very viable. Right. It was true for all of them. They could have done it on their best day. Yep. They could have very well had Fnatic beaten Wildcard just a couple hours ago. That definitely could have happened. So that is a tough pill to swallow. It's one of those big, you know, multivitamins.
For horses.
But if you just turn your head to the left, it actually helps with that. So
I see. Beretta's in position. Oh, that smoke, man. You really gonna push through that?
Oh, they're still coming through.
No way. Oh, the flashes miss the front runners. Axile tears their heads off.
Did absolutely nothing, by the way. If you were going to test those flashes, maybe on a guy standing out in the middle of the open in the site and see if he gets blind. If not, don't throw that flash. You can't blind that guy. You're not blinding anybody, okay?
Those flashbangs looked like they were coming out of a T-shirt cannon. Okay, yeah. Indiscriminate. They did not seem targeted.
Yeah.
Thrown into the pack. And it does not pay off. But they do find a relatively open B bomb site. And obviously, Cloud9 at a 5v2 advantage. Just think, maybe we do give them a plant. The retake seems easy enough. The King of Kings hits the ground, Heavy God, with the impact. Cloud9, who we know have a CT side in their back pocket, kick this one off. That's both pistols secured. That is, again, an 8-round T side as well. This is the win condition that the analysts called for, already set up in this BO.
Yeah, seriously. And Heavy God, he's trying to rile up the crowd. You can see him. Plus, we've heard that Heavy God has great energy.
Yes,
we've heard
Boomich.
that he's a very fun player to play with. Boomich is feeding off his energy. Look at him.
That was very cool to say Boomich, obviously just mentioning like he's got great vibes, great energy, and it reminds me of my younger self.
Yeah.
You know, because now we are looking at
He used
Boomich.
to be a Heavy God.
He used to be. And now the leader of Cloud9. I do in a way think, you know, like Axile and Inter has always felt like they got the tough end of bad negative energy whenever it was in the Cloud9 roster.
Yeah.
You know, they felt affected by it, as did Shiro. We all remember Shiro crying in a live map. Obviously, you know, frustrations boiled over at times, and it's nice to see and nice to know that Boomich and Heavy God can come together and kind of set this environment for an inexperienced player like Icy and 2 players with experience who I think need a positive work environment like Inters and Axile. I like this formula.
They need to have kombucha in the fridge.
That's what it's all
to
about.
keep the morale up.
Ginger shots in the morning.
Froyo trucks outside.
But, Launders, but this one kicks off with a Blame F opening kill. So a little tremor for Cloud9 as they know there is a rifle out there on the field. And it's not the only one, right? That is still with the Galil.
Ooh, CT's walking away from this right now.
But now they see the utility come over top. Good wall bang. That's half of Boomich health's gone. He's working with a smoke grenade, so he could still very much kind of stop the tempo.
Oh, one spotted.
And he's going to drop the smoke inside of Temple.
Oh,
Missed
bad
Molly.
Molly. You can't be missing nades, guys, at the major.
They just did.
Not when you have all the time in the world. And now, what, 20 seconds? They're actually turning this into... It was a fake the whole time, guys. Let's get out of here.
Just run. Run for the hills and try to hit A. Right now, Inter's deep Temple. No A main pressure, so, I mean,
it's all about
spot.
Inters.
If anybody slides up close into him, that could be one problem, but he drops the AK. Galil gives cover, and the bomb's going to go down with man advantage still held onto, but they can't cross over, scramble for the gun. They've got to go back into Donut. Pressure into the CT, but he peeks before the flash. A second piece of missed utility.
Yeah.
Small mistakes for Fnatic's here. Cracks in otherwise what could have been an upset round. Retake comes forward. Now man advantage back to the CTs. Crimson body from inside Donut, though. That is what's going to make the difference.
Icy's going to walk away from this. There's no smoke to use. He'll have to go now, and this will be a round one for Fnatic. They can take this one. That's a big win. They needed it.
Talk about making it hard for yourselves.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the worst part about that flash is like, he peeks before it, and then it hits him anyway. It's like doomed from that point on. The Molly is the reason they end up going towards the A site on that late timing. Yes, it's around where you're going to have to get crafty, for sure. You only have Blame F on the main gun, but you still don't want it to go that way. You don't want to look back at demos and hear Molly's exploding in the air. That is just silly. It's one thing if you're getting rushed, right? If your QB is getting sacked and they have to throw the ball.
Right.
But in this position, it was just a quiet map. They're lining up a grenade they should know it's supposed to land.
One guy with a 5-7 inside that B site.
Yeah.
And you don't ruffle his feathers. But a force buy regardless here for Cloud9, so not wanting to give up this early CT momentum. Will it come back to haunt them? Solo M4 for Icy. Still, some smokes held onto, 3 of them for Cloud9, so timing could come down to their favor. And also with a single B defender, let's say Boomich hits the ground. I feel like this is an easy save for the next one. Cloud9 come in with a few tools. But at the moment, those smokes aren't in the right position.
Don't call around too quickly. Look at the CTs.
M4 is making a transition, right? At the minute mark, that M4 does get added to the B defense, which means the smoke that Icy also has is here just in time.
Are they going to go through this?
They boost, surely. Surely. Boomich standing in the smoke. Does he want Icy to jump on his head? Yes, there's going to be a timing for the M4 to try to get in. Contact back sight, it's right there. But too many targets. They peel away. He gets the fade shot through on body.
He knows 2 are backside at the moment. No CTs flanking, and the time is ticking with no kids.
It's good damage. It is good damage on Crimson Knock. It is doable damage, but bomb beyond the halfway point. Like you said, no kit already. This one's going to get dire, but 2 instant kills inside of the bomb site. Blame F, what can you offer? Your ramp players allowed them to cross. There's 5 men inside sight. Nobody can stop them. Boomich on the bomb with time. Cloud9, 1 M4, all they need.
That's great aim and a great retake from Cloud9, but, tisk here, Fnatic. They had a position that they should not have given up, or at least should have gotten 1 kill in, dare I say.
Especially, I think, when that boost fails, right? If that's what kicks off this whole entry, if he gets 2 off that boost, okay, sure, the retake happens, but the fadeaway through the smoke is all he got.
There's also something weird about the fact that Fnatic had almost no utility left before that exec came in, when they were relatively unbothered in the beginning of that round. So I'm not sure how the money went. They were just super broke, but looks like the funds caught up for them, or the lack thereof.
That's 2-2. For these teams in terms of winning rounds with lesser buys.
Chance to take the lead, Fnatic. As they buy in, they have 2 AKs.
Oh, what could have been. Now Cloud9 poised to just skip merrily into the 1-1 pool. 3 rounds, all they need. We've got the Galil of Heavy God in the corner.
Nice.
Knock zones him. Here's the AK swinging for more, but Axile's able to just hold that back line till Mattis comes at him from the other side. And again, this is much like the previous solo AK1 Galil buy, where Mattis ends up giving the critical cover in sight. You get the entry from Flame F previously 2 rounds ago. This time it's knock up ramp, and then Mattis delivers.
And are they have some utility and a kit, and they're actually all grouping up. I know there's almost no time to win this, but because of where the T's are playing this from, there's a small chance that they get away with this. I'm not joking.
They're starting to leave, but time is so close. MP9's
smoke is gonna come out.
Somebody's got to get on the bomb right now. Icy's defusing. Icy's defusing, and Crim's with it. No!
There is a chance they get away with this.
11 on the board.
Oh my God.
That is a backbreaker.
Read like a picture book. They knew that they were pushing back lanes. Icy wrapped around early. They kept 1 full kit of utility. The plan was simple. Unreal.
Look at that spam too, just whizzing by his knees. Blame F gets back in with the half-second too late.
That's unreal. Yeah, wow. Boomich had them believing in a chance for that retake. They pulled it off.
Wow.
What a sight. I mean, Fnatic feel really stupid right now, but if you look at what Cloud9 had, that is maximizing every bit of resource and trusting a read and working together with very fine margins. Like, that was about as good as it gets for a situation like that.
Yes.
So nicely done. But you do have a bomb planted default, everybody exiting the other way. So that means you can do it, but you've got to be the utmost certainty that no one is pushing through cave, no one is flanking around, that nothing like that could happen. Fnatic, that's 1 error in a series of errors in this match now.
Yes, sir. Too many errors to get back into this best of 1.
Yeah.
You know, if we were playing BO3s, then we can just chalk it up to, wash it off and come back in your next map. But no, sir. This is looking like Cloud9 just hammered the last nail in the coffin. It's still a buy here for Fnatic, but, I mean, gut-wrenching. A couple of losses here to start their T-side. Oh, man. And, you know, that's that kind of like minute decision making where everybody has to be on the same page. Inters has to cover that 1 kill while we get Icy moving into the ball. Everything had to be crossed and dotted. And my God, Cloud9 pulled that off. And I think that's the kind of round that makes you, if you want to believe in Cloud9, be a little more confident.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have some good mid rounds. Absolutely.
You know, I dare you to identify a mistake that Cloud9 have made in this game, really.
Yeah,
you know,
they got ecoed once, whatever. You know, it's a giant shadow that Fnatic cast in terms of their errors so far.
They're going to try to rush down the donut player, but Inter's here to help Axile.
Oh, man. What a
Lots
mess.
of experience between the two. And they tether nicely. Crims is able to wrap around. He's probably now thinking that the player's left. Little does he realize, Inter's just underhands the nade onto his feet. Blame F in a 1v4 attempt at 20 seconds.
But why do they keep
gone.
forcing it, right? Why do they keep forcing the smoke pushes every single time? There's so much desperation in that. Unfortunately, it's just feeding Cloud9, who are only becoming more and more aware and ready for it when they try to do it. But there are some moments here on the pistol round, on this round, where there are 2 players sitting in a smoke. They haven't even got an arm out yet, right? They aren't on their way out of a smoke. They're just running into a player who's staring at a smoke. Like, fundamentally speaking, this is where your biggest advantage is as a CT on the map. And Fnatic are just hoping that their aim is going to be good enough to make up for it.
You know, if anything, it's like the pistol round where they tried to run out of A main completely smoked off with those totally buns flashbangs was such a bad omen of what was to come, because we've just seen more of that since in this T side.
Yep.
So final purchase perhaps here from Fnatic, trailing by 7, not inspiring those who would have believed. Cloud9 come through looking like simply the better team and making less mistakes. And when we get to this opening stage of the major, let's be real, those who will advance to the elimination stage, in my eyes, are always the teams that make the least mistakes. And I think Cloud9 have now kind of, after the whole hiccup that was their T-side versus Liquid in that BO1 this morning, much better look, much more convincing, and something that could bode well for their endeavor. One of the newer teams And yet one that sits comfortably 7 rounds ahead. Little contact towards B site, not gonna move him. Not gonna move a muscle. Cloud9 still leaning back and enters on the pixel gap with smoke in hand, ready to throw it as Fnatic show their approach.
Gotta go for an A-Rap strat. There's no one main right now, so I don't know if this is just a lurk, but it looks like it. And Cloud9 aware of what's happening, but still bifurcated the CTs. Body spots one.
Missed shot out of Icy. They know the split's inbound.
Oh, but they're not approaching it correctly.
And they didn't get their opening kills on the bomb site, so Axile's able to chase that train that moved through spawn. Something finally goes the way of Fnatic, but it's got to be a knock Crims 2v5 to even hope to keep them in this. Pressure continues from that CT spawn, and poor Crims back completely exposed. For all he knows, he could have already been dead, but it's all in from CT lane here for Cloud9. Heavy God to lead the charge into the trade train. Sure enough, he gets it, and C9 go 1-1 as Fnatic will hereby face elimination every step of the way.